Top headlines in our Smart Start for Tuesday at 6:48. The cleanup is back on again this morning for a lot of people, covering Minden, Victor, Farmington, Canandaigua, and even beyond.
And they had such devastating damage. In fact, it looked like hundreds of tons of buckshot ripped through the trees, leaves, branches, everywhere during Monday's storms, and damaging a lot of people's property along with that.
Yeah, a car too. Brand new one. Here's Aran Spitzer with that story. Aran.
Yeah, guys, first came the clouds, then came the rain, and a lot of rain it was for folks in Canandaigua. The wind was a big problem. That wind flattening fences, toppling trees, and snapping power poles. However, hail ended up being the biggest culprit for some. Golf ball-sized ice came crashing down in and around Farmington. Such was the case on Fraser Way, where we found Taylor True and Jacob and Gorowski, who just pulled her new ride out of the lot and parked it outside her home literally 2 hours before the storm parked itself over her street.
So we just got home from the car dealership around 3 o'clock. We had been home for about an hour and a half. The wind started picking up, and then before we knew it, there were loud, like, pelting sounds hitting the roof, and we looked outside and hail was coming down, at least the size of a golf ball. Before we knew it, I ran outside and saw that both of our windshields were shattered.
Meanwhile, their neighbors are dealing with broken windows, chipped siding on their homes as well. Guys, back to you.
It's brutal luck there.
Most certainly, yeah.
All right, James, here we go. Round two.
Yeah.
Maybe the timing in this will make it a little less severe than what we had yesterday.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, it's just yesterday was tough because it's right during the evening commute.
Yes.
And the last thing you want is to be on the road when you have torrential downpours, even if it isn't severe, let alone when you have damaging wind gusts that were knocking down power lines, knocking down trees as well. So today will not be that. It will not be that 4, 5, 6 p.m. time frame. It's going to be a lot closer to the 11 a.m., noon, 1, 2 p.m. time frame as those storms roll through. Best chance is going to be as the storm system gets stronger from west to east. So logically, if you're further east, you have a better chance for stronger storms. So we'll be tracking them all day long. Otherwise, temperatures getting into the mid-80s. It's hot, it's humid across the region. Rest of the 8-day forecast at the end of the show. Brendan, Michaela?
That'll be in a few minutes here for our Smart Start, your sunrise traffic, a live view for you this morning. We're clear and dry here. Looking live there just over the northwest side of the city. Our map, everything showing up green on our expressways. No issues at all here early on this Tuesday morning. And now we'll get back to our headlines.
And those just into our newsroom now. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office asks for your help, the public's help, to find a missing man.
We've got his photo. Here it is right now on your screen. 58-year-old Edwin Martinez. Been missing from his home on Chapel Way in Chili since Thursday. He's 5'7", 170 again. There's his photo with his clothing. He was last seen wearing a white shirt, black sweatpants, and black and white Jordans. We've got his photo information all on our website. Please share that. If you know where he might be, please call 911. News 8, your local election headquarters. Former President Donald Trump made a surprise appearance on the first night of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee.
Walked into that arena with his ear bandaged days after surviving an attempted assassination at a rally. Trump also named his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
We're also learning new details in the investigation about this shooter who came close to taking Trump's life Saturday in Pennsylvania. He went to a gun range near Pittsburgh just days before the shooting, and hours ahead of that rally over the weekend, he bought a box of ammo for his father's AR-style rifle. Still no word yet on a motive, though federal investigators have already accessed the gunman's phone.
Also attending the convention, Republican Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, who represents parts of our area.
Before she went into the arena, she took a moment to hop on a phone call with our team here at News 8, telling us she wants to see much more done and an investigation as well into the day that happened, this chaos, Saturday afternoon.
I think the Congress needs to look into this. This is an unfortunate situation. I've heard from friends of mine who even were Secret Service members that this was a failure on the part of the Secret Service. I can't express how heartbroken and how terrible it is that this young 50-year-old father, fell on his children to save their lives, and needlessly his life was taken. Never should have happened, and the Secret Service should have been on top of that.
She also adds, to her, it was a surprise that Trump chose Vance as his pick for VP, but she says she understands that decision for the ticket as he's young and has a backstory she argues will help.
A new report finds District Attorney Sandra Dorley violated the Monroe County Code of Ethics the day she refused to pull over for a Webster police officer.
This was all when that officer tried to stop Dorley for speeding on April 22nd. Instead, she drove home and at the same time called the chief of the Webster department. Body camera footage that we've showed you repeatedly shows Dorley invoking her position multiple times as DA and refusing to follow orders from the officer. According to the OPI's report, this state inspection, Dorley violated the code of ethics by not driving safely, refusing to pull over, not following traffic law, and it goes on to say she was abusive toward the officers that day. The report also says by repeatedly calling the Webster chief of police the officer's boss, that cannot be viewed as anything but an attempt to secure unwarranted privileges or exemptions. The OPI has referred Dorley's violations over to the County Board of Ethics for action. We'll be following that.
Happening today, the Rochester Board of Education will hold a special meeting.
That begins at 5 o'clock to discuss what's listed as personnel matters. The meeting will be held at Central Administrative Offices on West Broad Street. Important to note, there will be no opportunity for public comment. The meeting is expected to go right into executive session. If we hear any updates from that, we will share them with you.
Also happening today, a chance for you pet owners to get some free vet care. From 10 to 2 at the People's Pantry on Avenue D, there will be free dog vaccine clinics, also pet food available at no cost. It is the end of dance recital and audition season. The next one is fast approaching, and along with dance and any other physical activity, you can always get hurt.
Yeah, and one of these teens we're hearing from is Sadia El-Amin Turner, who's been dancing since she was 4, and the next step in her journey to becoming a dancer was going to be majoring in this in college. But things took a turn when she started feeling pain early last year, and she didn't speak up for months. That ultimately had her needing a lot of rest and physical therapy, but the fact that this was right before audition time did not make resting any easier.
It's a very hard injury because, like, if you walk, you're risking yourself. If you dance, if you're pointing, if you're on point, you're risking yourself even more. So just having that thought and just, like, if I'm doing what's best for me, or, you know, in general with the injury, and how if it was going to get better or worse, it really just put me in a tough position.
Hello?
Luckily, things worked out for her after following the doctor's instructions. She made it through auditions and will be going to college in California in the fall, but she says she may not have made it there without taking that time just to rest and getting the push to that from her dance doctor. It's kind of like the young pitchers that we heard about getting Tommy John, just overuse, playing, competing all the time. Take a break if you can.
Yeah, sometimes the best thing you can do for your game is to rest.
Yeah,
well,
to rest.
And nobody likes being told what to do. Let's be honest.
For sure.
That's true, too.
If you have someone that has experience within that field telling you what to do, it makes it a little bit easier anyways. Right now, you see the cloud coverage that's starting to work its way in, just a thin cirrus. That is the storm system that is going to work its way in our direction. We're at 68 degrees right now. We'll go mid-80s this afternoon, and so much to look forward to after the storms that move through today.
That'll be better heading into the weekend. That does it for us here at Sunrise. Next update in 30.
Have a great day.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.